Hi, my name is Bill Roche. I've been in this parish now for 48 years. Okay, so when I first came to this parish, it was in 1961. I lived in St. Cloud for 10 years. When I got down here, the first thing that happened is Father Tui was in charge then, and he said our kids were going into the school being registered, but we weren't able to leave St. Cloud until October. And Father Tui said, no, you kids have to be down here starting September. You just have to be here. So I said, well, we can't be here. And he said, I'll arrange it. And he did. He arranged my children to be in with another family. 5 of my kids were in that family with 5 of their own. So he just burdened the family with 10 kids just like that. And then after Father Tui got to know me, he said, the first thing you have to do is you have to come to Cana. I don't know how many are familiar with Cana, but Cana is where we all got together. And Father always had a guest speaker or entertainment. And when you were new, he put you in the kitchen. And so I got to be the pot washer very first time I went to Cana, which in itself was a good thing because there was 6 other people and you got to know a lot of people right away. And Father Tui at the end of the meeting would say, now there are a lot of new people here in the parish, be sure you take them home and have a cup of coffee with them. So it wasn't too long before you knew at least half the parish, if not all the parish. So that was my first experience. My second experience is when we had a meeting at the school hall, and Father Tui was very upset about the apartment that went up in the corner of 38th and Blaisdell. He felt that all should be single homes, or as is. And so he said to me, I want you to go down to the city council, and I want you to sit in there, and I want you to see if you can't put a little pressure on them to get them to do the rezoning. And I said, Father, I'm a traveling salesman. I make my living traveling. I don't have time to do that. You have the time to do it. God take care of it. Don't worry about it. God will take care of it. Well, it's pretty hard to turn down a priest when he figures God's going to help you. So I went down to the city council and I sat in there and the thing dragged out for 2 or 3 weeks. And they just wouldn't recognize me. They had all kinds of lawyers and lobbyists, but wouldn't recognize me at all. So I just got up and arbitrarily cut in on them and I said, at that time, Frank Moulton was the president. I said, Mr. Moulton, I'd like to speak if I may. And he said, who are you? I told him who I was. And he said, well, wait your turn. So I've been waiting for 3 weeks for you to recognize me. You haven't recognized me. I'm going to speak now. So I told him, I said, the reason you're sitting there is because people like me voted for you and put you in that position you're in. And I said, if you're not going to listen to me, and so we have to say, I'm going to get a petition up, and you're going to be out of that office. And he said to me, who the heck do you think you are? And I said, one of your constituents. And I up and left. About 3 days later, I got a call from him, and he wanted to have a meeting with me and with all the people involved, which basically was Father Tui and I. And since Father Tui knew more about it than I did, I let him be the spokesman. And he went on to say that it's not right to build apartment houses in good neighborhoods. And he said, we need a zoning law. Well, to make a long story short, we did get a zoning law. We got a zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, so forth, which I'm sure some of you recognize. And now we got that passed in the city council. We found out it had to be passed in the state. If it wasn't passed in the state with the 5 major cities, which at that time was Minneapolis, St. Paul, Duluth, St. Cloud, Rochester. They had a vote on it. Well, that went through probably another 6 months before the state got around to it, and it passed. So the entire state of Minnesota's zone laws changed because of a man named Father Tui. Fantastic story in a way. And the next adventure that I had, and you get a lot of adventures with priests, they have a way of asking you things and you don't have time. And I got to look at the notes here. I'm trying to keep these in sequence of what happened. Oh, the Oktoberfest. They had a men's club here. There was a very active men's club and a women's club. They were very active also. And we used to get envelopes in the mail. You know, one for electricity, one for oil, one for this, one for that. And every week you had an extra envelope to kick and sometimes 2 more extra envelopes. And at the men's, at that time was the Holy Name Society. And I said, this is ridiculous. I said, we'd be nickel and dime to death. Is there some way we get around this? And they said, well, they didn't know what to do. And I said, well, you know, I said, where I come from, they have a big event. I said, they have a bridge club and they have a 500 club. And I said, they charge everybody $50 to play. And they share the prize money with the winners. And I said, they had other things, I don't know them all, but I'll call New York. I said, that's where I was from originally. So I called St. Andrews in Flushing, Island, and got all the details of how to handle it. And I brought it back to the Holy Name Society. And they said, well, that was much, much too big for them to handle. So they said, well, we can go for the entertainment portion of it. So that's how the Oktoberfest was founded. In that Oktoberfest, I went up to, somehow I heard about a donkey machine up in Sauk Rapids. So I drove up there and at the local church, they sold it to me for $10, hauled it down here. And we used it for about 3 seasons at the Oktoberfest. And we took in about $700, $800 off that machine. And we had the priest up on it, we'd dunk the priest, and we'd tease the kids and say, let's see if you can get the teacher in the water, and that sort of thing. So it turned out to be very successful. The 4th year it disappeared. So I asked I finally found out the jam decided I was in the way, so he just threw it out. Without telling anybody. I said, so we lost a good revenue maker. I said, it was a great thing. Well, we had it in the school basement up against one of those places we hardly use. And I don't know if the fire marshal told me he had to move it or if he just did it on his own. Nobody ever explained it to me. I would say it started in 1963 because I came here in 61 and talked about it in 62, so either started then or a year later. We elected Joe Hanna president. He was the first one to be president of it. And then we wanted to host it. So what we did is we were selling tickets. Rita and I, my wife, we were the greeters. And as people came down the stairs, I hugged all the women. I told my wife to hug the men. She said, I am not doing like that. So she said, you know, if you do that, one of these husbands is going to get jealous and you're going to get smacked right in the mouth. And I said, it's just fun. So I hugged all the women just to kind of get the party going. And sure enough, one guy got mad so I would hug his wife again and break my neck. But that's all that happened. By that time, I became kind of the official greeter, so I was hugging women all the time. And then I got to the point that when I would meet him at church, say, don't I get a hug? Yeah. So I kind of go into something that I do all the time now, but then it was just trying to lend a little more to the Oktoberfest. And so that went on. We did pretty good on that. And I think our first year we made $27,000 to $28,000. And it was, the parish really contributed. All the ladies went out door to door and they got the meals for free, they got the meat, they got everything you needed they got. We didn't pay for anything. That was a lot of money in its time, yeah. And we had a group called the Happy Wanderers. Anybody that's familiar with the gym knows that there's one room on the side, a long room. I never knew what that was used for. Kitchen, I suppose, and the dining room. But that's where we had the Happy Wanderers the first time. And that place was jammed. I mean, that was wall to wall people. You couldn't walk from one side to the other. And we just had a mob there. We did that for about 2 years. And then finally we said, we don't have enough room. That's when we moved into the gym. And the gym was always packed. We had a dance, an adult dance in the gym, and we had a teenage dance upstairs. Yes. Teenage dance was on Friday night. Adult dance was on Saturday night. Or rather, Happy Wanderers was Saturday night. And kind of a thing, we had the dance on Sunday, not on Saturday, because the Happy Wanderers were there on Saturday. So we really had a grand time. It was an awful lot of fun, and we had a tremendous amount of participation from the parish. Everybody got involved in it. We had door prizes, you name it, we had everything.